Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us today for the webinar on making year-end easy or eliminating the pain of year-end. First, we're going to give a kind of a high-level view of Foundation as far as who the company is, and I'll be super brief with the intro just to make sure we get into the topic without veering too far off that path. So with that being said, there's me. So I've not that you need my history, right? But I've been involved in about, I don't know, 10 or so years of implementation and support, and then the rest of the now 12 years in the sales side of things. But in the industry a long time. I am definitely not an accountant, right? But I understand accounting and how accounting software can help, and the various features and options that should be available to companies to, again, help with their year-end process and even monthly closing, that type of a process. So for Foundation, yeah, we've been in business close to 40 years. Obviously, our market is small to mid-sized construction companies. And that's a wide range, right? We've got companies that do $1 million or even less sometimes. We've got companies that do a few $100 million. I'd say the bulk of our clients fall between, I don't know, 5, 10 million and 60 million, somewhere in that space. They're just a large group, and that's just our business model of who we target. I did note there, we've got thousands of our clients use our payroll service, and that actually kind of falls in line with today's topic of just helping with year end. That's a nice option that we do offer. It's not outsourced, it's truly us. We are also, it's a separate legal company, but it's us, same ownership, same support staff and everything. We're thousands of our clients will say, hey, I got my time in, everything's proved, and we finish up, right? And we do their W-2s, their quarterly returns. I'll kind of touch on that a little bit. But obviously the system's designed to be able to do your own payroll in-house, do your own W-2s, tax filings from the software, etc. You got a lot of specialty contractors, probably more like 65% specialty contractors and the rest GCs, in part because our payroll is really strong. And I think we attract a lot of contractors because of the capabilities of our payroll module, certified payroll, union payroll, multi-state, cities, taxes, right? All those fun variables, we do an absolutely fantastic job with it. The bottom section on this that I'm kind of scribbling over, I think that's extremely important. In our direct space, I think we're the only ones still that are all in-house support and training and sales and everything else. So when companies call, our clients call, it's us that they're talking to from a support standpoint. Roughly 50 or so employees at our company are in the support staff, so that's all done direct. We're all, for the most part, we're all in one building. And same thing, implementations, that's not outsourced. So that's been a huge piece to our long-term success. So here's a high level of what we do. I mean, at the very top, oops, let me go back. That was that's our bread and butter of where we started, nearly 40 years ago, right? Job cost accounting. Construction payroll services, which I noted, is another option. We do have project management solutions, mobile solutions for field entry for time and other things. We have a couple estimating softwares under our umbrella, and a safety product as well. So, a lot of companies will use, one feature that we offer, say the job cost accounting or the payroll service or an estimating side. A lot of them, they'll use multiple products and try to keep everything under one umbrella, which makes that seamless integration very nice for their company. So here's kind of the high level. So the very top right, that's Foundation. And these are the other products that I had noted. We have our payroll service. We've got our HQ suite, which handles safety and project management and HR. We've got our estimating options. These are specific to primarily like electrical, mechanicals, roofing, fireproofing, drywall. So these are niche. We absolutely integrate with any third-party estimating tool as well. So About Time, that's a company that's under our umbrella too. It's a mobile product we call WorkMax. Does a great job of clocking in and out in the field, face recognition, GPS, right? So there's some very high-level options for time management, syncing directly into our software. Okay. So as I was thinking of how the system helps with eliminating the pains of year-end, right? I think it's a couple key things. One of the main things I think probably goes without saying is good processes and procedures throughout the year, right? And just using those monthly close processes, making sure the auditing process is done appropriately, you know, balancing your agings and your trial balance. We'll kind of talk about that. You know, just the classics. So when the year end does happen, we're not catching up so much that we're scrambling. And then it gets down to the other part of, you know, how does the software help you with these processes of year end and closing a month and making sure that things are in, avoiding these mishaps throughout the fiscal period. And we'll touch on those as well. So let's hop in. And, you know, there's a lot here on the main screen. And, you know, typical demonstrations that we do, you know, we're walking our potential clients right through the process. We're getting a job in the system. We're going to talk about our job costing features. And if we have time, I'll note a few of these key pieces, because, you know, any solid accounting package, right? And there's a lot of them. They should be handling a lot of similar, you know, essentials within the product. On the left-hand side of the screen, these are shortcuts that I pulled over. So each user can create their own shortcuts. Like I have one for, you know, payroll, where it kind of walks me through the steps of payroll. And the idea, you can just kind of drop and drag, you know, any item over there and pulling over certified payroll reporting, right? So I have one for monthly and year-end processes. And I have a whole lot of examples there, you know, just for today and truthfully, to go through some of these key items. But, you know, any good accounting software, sure, it should have solid financials, solid audit trails, hopefully. And truthfully, some off-the-shelf systems, you know, where we convert a lot of people from, they really don't. And that does not to sound tacky. They're really nice systems out there. They're easy to use. The proper audit trails is key. And making sure records can't go poof is also key. And making sure that that integrity is kept in place. Which is why one of our biggest sources of referrals are construction CPA firms. You know, it's just because they tend to want to push their clients off of a generic system to something more helpful, not only for a construction company, but their processes as well. So anyway, these are shortcuts on the left, specific to like some processes for year-end close, monthly audits, leading to year-end, which we're going to walk through. But, you know, on top of those classic accounting features that we offer and other, you know, accounting softwares offer, the reason we attract construction companies is obviously on top of that, we handle complex construction payroll. We handle absolutely wonderful job costing and job cost reporting, importing budgets from their estimating solution or Excel. You know, we offer the field mobile solutions for time management to sync into payroll, committed cost control, right? Purchase order and subcontract management, change order control, AIA billings, T&M billings, you know, lien waivers, you know, there's a lot of other, you know, obviously equipment and time and material inventory features. So there's a lot that we can provide on top of that core classic suite. And it's probably not surprising, most of our clients come off QuickBooks, right? Or something older, like an older construction platform. And really the top is in a way replacing a generic package, say like QuickBooks. But then again, adding on these full construction features to avoid going to spreadsheets, duplicate entry, using, you know, 5 different bolt-on products and things of that nature. So let's start from the top here. Now, you know, one easy classic thing people are doing on a regular basis, right? They should be tying their aging reports to their trial balance or balance sheet, right? Now, couple easy things. If I run an aging report in the system, I should note that, you know, these can be run by vendor, by job by vendor. There's plenty of options on all of reports for detailed, summarized, totals only, right? Again, by job and then by vendor. Regardless of the sort, right? The totals will be the same. And you know, obviously people are making sure that their total AP and total AR are going to tie out to their AP and AR accounts in the general ledger, right? And that's an easy concept. And there's key things that we do to avoid mishap in our day-to-day accounting processes, right? Now, one really cool feature within the software is if you are looking at reports and like, wait a minute, where's this transaction? Like, what is this thing? You know, I do have the ability to, you know, drill down. Even this is a key feature to help in auditing processes, right? We have the ability to attach scanned documents in the system. We can route invoices for approval, right? To say a project manager or maybe an executive or something. You know, PMs get their invoices for their jobs. They can go in, make sure they're coded properly. But just giving us the ability, whether we're looking at financials, you know, general ledger detail reports, AP and AR reports, like an aging report, we're able to pull up, say, scanned invoices, maybe vendor yeah, vendor invoices, receipts, maybe for purchases on accounts receivable or AP. And even here, if we said, hey, we got to make a correction to this transaction for some reason, we can jump right in and make some revisions or drill down to the vendor or job level. So there's a lot of functionality in our system to help where we're not jumping between 17 different screens to get to the end game. We can do that in one spot. One really key piece that we do when we think about balancing AP and AR to our general ledger, and I should mention too, as I pop in and run let's say a trial balance for today, we are tracking retainage as well. So notice here I have like AR retainage, I got AP retainage, just because we do an excellent job of not only tracking that and showing that on those aging reports, if I didn't point that out, but then it has the release retainage functionality where when we release retainage, it will shift those retainage dollars up to your standard AR. But these two combined, right, that's the total on our aging report, making sure that those are locked together. So then you think, well, how could those not be in balance? And there's key features like that we prevent, where, if somebody tries to do a GL journal entry, basic journal entry, right? If they attempt to use the AP or AR accounts, well, that's probably not good in most situations, right? Because that's not affecting our agings. Well, we can prevent users from doing that. Maybe certain users, maybe the admin person or controller can, but other, data entry people that have no right to do that, they're not able to do that, which would sink the agings and the GL out of balance. So basic things like that we do a great job. And speaking on that level, there's security. Not only can you decide features like that, like, hey, prevent any direct entry to AP and AR and journal entry, because that's going to throw us out of balance. Just who can do and see what, right? From a very granular level, who's allowed in the system, what can they see, what can they do? Easy example, maybe somebody that works in accounting can't see the payroll module, or maybe they can, but they can't see executives. Maybe somebody's allowed to go into AP, but only enter invoices, but they can't cut checks. So, I mean, when somebody logs in, theoretically, they could have access to just one report in the whole system if that's all they're allowed to do. So you get very specific on security controls. On that note, under control files, this is another key area to the system for admin users, right? That can maintain these decisions where, let's say accounts payable, what dates can we enter to? Mine's wide open because I don't care. But, I'm sure a lot of our clients right now maybe have just February, right? That's all they can enter in because maybe they're done with January, and we're not going to let a person enter data accidentally or intentionally to a time period that we don't have open anymore. Now, it's not a hard close system, which a lot of old softwares in our space have, where it's like once you close, you can never go back. It's totally locked down and all that. No, I mean, the admin user can reopen an old time period if like your CPA says, hey, go do something to this time period. You can, as an admin user, reopen it and then block it again, right? So those are some very basic concepts that we do in the modules as an example to make sure that, again, we're not creating mistakes, I guess, on accident or intentionally. So financial reporting, obviously another classic thing that we're doing all the time. We do have preloaded financials. They're nice, they're easy, they're clean. You absolutely have the ability in our system to customize financials and job cost reports, worth mentioning. It's drop and drag for customization. You can do divisionalized reporting. We have some companies that have a column for like, commercial work, service work, residential, or location A, location B. So if you need different profit centers or what we call divisions, you can absolutely do divisionalized financials and see profit centers on the accounting reports. So even these built-in ones, you can run them by job, show prior years, budget versus actual if you want to do, budgeted GL versus actual information. Great, but again, you have a report writer that's built in. It's part of the base package. It's extremely simple to use. If I wanted to build my own income statement, I can say, hey, this one, I want to keep the one that has this year and a prior year, columns on my income statement or profit and loss, but maybe I want another one that runs monthly or something, right? So I'll add current month, prior month. I mean, I'm just making stuff up, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, but I could choose, budget versus actual. I can do months, quarters, periods, year to date, variances. You can kind of make it look how you want. So I'm not going to make it look beautiful just for today's purpose. You can give it a name, I'll say monthly IS for income statement. So, and I appreciate I'm being quick here with it, but just showing the examples. And these are things that we absolutely do with our clients, right? You know, during implementations, maybe, you know, afterwards, if they didn't know they needed something. Now you can't have the months actually show, but I was doing that quick. You can drill down, right? So I just wanted to kind of give you a kind of a quick visual to the classic, easy day-to-day things that people have in basic accounting packages, right? We have the ability to hopefully add more to it, not only from a construction perspective, but just flexibility and not have to be a programmer to do that. Now you can do consolidated financials. So if somebody has multiple companies, you can do consolidated financials within the software. Obviously journal entries, I have a shortcut to that. Reconciliations, right? So I mean, obviously a key thing that clients do on a regular basis to make sure their year end is clean when they get there is, keeping up with their checking account, right? Savings accounts. So yes, there's obviously reconciliation features. We can import the reconciliation information. So if your bank kicks out a file, which I'm sure it does, that can help auto reconcile. And I'm just putting in, I'll just put the end of the month. It's hard for me to type 29 for February, but I'm making it happen. So again, if we did the import, it would auto reconcile, like it would show here anything that matched up by, dollar amount, check number, date, that type of thing. You can do journal entries on the fly. You can search for transactions by date, dollar amount, transaction number, check number, various categories there. And again, these are some classic essential things. We do, while I'm here, which I have a shortcut to it, we have a year-end close process. It's easy. You press the button and it closes income through expenses, right, to the retained earnings account. I mean, you choose the account. I'd pick my first income, last expense account, right, roll over. We do also, for people that use the system, right, we definitely have people that have deep accounting knowledge. We've got a lot of people that don't, and that's not a bad thing. It just is what it is, right? You don't have to be an accountant to use an accounting software. And so we do have like webinars, tutorials, year-end guides that we send out. We do, like I said, have webinars at year-end and things like that. Hey, these are good tips and tricks and processes to use. On that level too, I mentioned CPAs. We encourage our clients, CPAs, to be involved as much as you and they want to be. We have great relationships with many, many, many construction CPA firms and CPAs in the construction environment. We have a module included in the base system that helps with that audit process, right? We encourage a CPA to have a login to the system. They can be at their office or their house, obviously, if you allow them to, which you likely would, and they can jump in and help and do their reviews at any time, right? Jump in. We have easy access to a lot of key things. So I clicked into the CPA audit review module. And the whole idea here is we've consolidated a lot of key features and reports that an accountant or somebody doing an audit would want to have access to. So even if they're not like a super knowledgeable user on Foundation, they can click in here. They have access to financials, aging reports, trial balance, cash flow reporting, over under billing, WIP reporting, 941s. Right now, it doesn't mean they can't have access to any other area of the system, but we wanted to do that specific for their advantage. Another quick point there. I'm on foundationsoft.com. Obviously, a lot of good information about our company on our website. There's a button here called CPA firms. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody to drop their CPA or anything if they're not construction specific by any stretch, right? But if somebody is looking for a CPA or to get help, not even maybe change CPAs, but maybe get help from a consultant or something. This isn't for me to get any kickback or anything, but we do have a library here, right? Where you can search by state or zip code, right, for a CPA. I can just hit find CPA or just click on one of the states, right? That was at the top. Like if I click, California or something, it's like it'll show, oh, there's a bunch over here. You click, and we can, zoom in and find an accountant, hopefully that has that deeper construction background for specific help in that topic, right? And I'm kind of trying to, so somebody was asked about consolidated financials. I'll try to jump into one of my other play companies that has that feature turned on and give a view of that. So real quick encouragement, anybody who's on today and anybody who registers, right? We're not pushy. And I say this to the most sincere way. We are not pushy people from a sales perspective. Anybody that does sales here, did support and implementations for many years, so this is really not our background per se, but that is the best way to really go through and look at the software for all the finer points and go through questions. One-on-one demonstrations, they can be an hour, right? Just to go through and make sure things line up or are fit. Now, we also want to talk about payroll, right? The processes in payroll. You got your general ledger, making sure you're balancing with AP and AR, making sure financials look accurate and are balancing appropriately. But yeah, payroll. So as I mentioned earlier, one nice advantage as an option for companies is let us do it. Let us do your W-2s. Let us pay your taxes. Let us do your quarterly filings. Let us do your ACA reporting if need be. But clearly, if I go to reports, that's all part of the core package, right? So when I say that, it doesn't mean if you need, let's say, scroll down here, W-2s, right? Of course, you can do them from our software, electronic or printed, right? You're doing it. We provide the formatting, the reporting. It's there. It's ready to go, right? Because we do. Obviously, you can do your payroll within Foundation. That's one of our biggest strengths in the software is all the fund construction payroll elements. Or you could have us do it, right? So that's the other variable there. So we have W-2 features. Right above it is union reporting, not specific to your end, of course, but that's there. So I wanted to point it out. We have ACA reporting, right? For the Affordable Care Act, we've got the 1094s and 1095 forms, all the other various reports that are necessary to maintain the ACA information and get that tracked properly. Some of our clients have us do their filings for them. Whether they're on our payroll service or just doing payroll in-house, they can opt to have us actually handle their ACAs and W-2s, even if they're not using our full payroll service from just an easier way to do it. Really, that's I guess the easiest way to say it. Just having us handle that service for them to take that hassle out of their hands for a fee, of course. But that's something that we do offer. Even like simple things like year-to-date limits will reset automatically in payroll. Like once the first check date hits for 25 or something, it's like they reset the limits automatically. So we have like even webinars and just educations to say, hey, make sure you look at it, any deductions that are supposed to be, a limit of dollars per year. Dollars per year to make sure that they have that right setting so it knows to reset those on an annual basis. We update tax tables automatically in the system. We're a cloud product. So that's another big advantage. I mentioned CPAs can connect remotely. You day-to-day users obviously can connect remotely from home or Starbucks or wherever they're at. And another huge advantage there, I mentioned us doing tax table updates. We are doing all of your updates automatically, our clients' updates, I should say, right? And from a security standpoint, right, we have a professional data center. It's a tier 4 data center, whatever requirements that holds, which is like the same as I think a bank from a security requirement. We're doing backups every day throughout the day, right? Another key piece, if you try to do a year end, it's like if you're about to close your year, you probably want to have a backup done. We're doing them already. So, these are just basic things that we do for our clients from a service perspective. So I mentioned, W-2s, W-3s, 1094, 1095s. Oh, AP, of course, 1099s, right? Another classic piece. So we do keep up to date. We'll do about 4 to 5 updates a year. Now, a lot of those are just enhancements, right, in the package from a feature set standpoint. Like I mentioned, we rolled out a more formal HR product with employee onboarding, employee self-services. So it's a constant, we've been doing this 40 years, but you keep growing and enhancing your technology and features. But you're also keeping on tabs with the classics, right? Tax table updates, changes to W-2 formatting, 1099 features. You can do printed or electronic, right? So that's the options on both of those. Sales tax reporting, if that's applicable for a company. We do sales tax, use tax, makeup tax, right? And so again, one of the key things that I can't stress enough is just the overall picture of the day-to-day processes that we keep intact here, meaning our system, I want to say we try to make the happy marriage of something as easy to use as an off-the-shelf program, close, right? Hopefully it's close, but still give the integrity, stopping people from doing silly things that shouldn't be allowed, intentional or otherwise. Preventing them from doing something that seems like a normal entry that could throw them out of balance, at least warn them, right? Depending on preferences. Giving the CPA rights, to log in directly, work with you and us, right? We do a lot of CPA beneficial things to them too, where they earn CPE credits. We have a CPA conference every year where we free 2 or 3 day course where they earn credits. So obviously we want to make sure that they're happy and as knowledgeable as they want to be on the software and kind of giving them the support that they need too. Yeah, and we encourage, again, anytime an accountant wants to talk to us or be involved, awesome, right? Great. Another key piece, as I mentioned, the support here. It's us, it's in-house, and I mentioned that earlier, but all we work with is construction companies. So like even just terminology and the classics of just not only day-to-day accounting fundamentals, but we understand what certified payroll is. We understand what retainage is, right? What change orders are, what WIP reporting is. These are just classic pieces. And again, that's the reason people come to us. It's not just for core accounting. It's the other variables that are on top of it that I think are really extremely important. So I mentioned here. Oh, another nice part I think with auditing, and I mentioned earlier, like attachments. Like you can do this throughout the system. I think this does help at an audit approach, and just whether it's a monthly review, annual, audit, year-end close. When we're looking at transactions, again, if I just went into an AP invoice, nothing super exciting right now. If there's no job for an AP invoice, that's wonderful, right? Maybe it's just office supplies, but I'll go ahead and pick a job. Why not? Invoice number, date. Now, maybe I don't even know what I'm going to enter yet. Well, I must have because I picked those. But I can hit the import image button, really, I think anywhere in our program. Vendor records, job records, AR invoice entry, maybe on I don't know, PO entry, wherever you're at. This window will pop up when you hit add image, and you can add the image. I have a folder where I saved a whole bunch of scanned invoices. So those are the invoices that I didn't enter yet. Those maybe were on emails as PDFs, great. I just saved them to that folder. Maybe some were hard copies that I scanned, great, saved them to that folder. So now I have like a batch of invoices. So the next time I go to do entry like I am, it's like I pulled this one in. This is the one I'm going to enter. Maybe look at it on another monitor. It's part of our package at this point. It's part of the database. So then, and there's the image. Great. So that way later on, as I run any reports, we're able to see that information, right? So that's just an easy way for us to get that data pulled into the program, and it optionally can be routed for approval, right, before it gets committed to the general ledger. So things like that, right, as we look at reports to drill down, get into the weeds a bit, we can pop these transactions open, drill down into other key areas without having to close a bunch of screens and, hunt around the program for these various features. Let's see, looking at the, yes, there's questions as far as like if somebody's doing data entry, can they request that, I'm assuming like cost codes and maybe the job cost coding that's been put on a transaction is correct. Yes, you can optionally route invoices for approval, or just force that, right? Any invoice for this job needs to get approved by this person, or maybe just one-offs where you're like, hey, I'm not sure about this one, I'm gonna route it. A lot of people just have it just forced routing, based on the job record often, or even the dollar value of the invoice. Like anything over $5,000, it's got to go to the controller, even if it's not job related, things of that nature. Let's see. Time-wise, I always try to keep these somewhat lean. And in truth, because we want people to just say, oh, this piqued my interest, let's reach out and learn more, right? That type of an approach. But yeah, guys, we've been doing this a long time. Again, even if somebody's like, hey, I just want to see, the essentials, or have a conversation to see if this is fit. I always think to tell people, like, they'll have questions on emails and stuff. It's like, let's not overthink it. Let's just get online. You know what I mean? It's like, let's go through it. Sometimes each week I do a demonstration, and within 5 minutes I tell a company you're not a good fit, right? So that's our goal too. We don't want to push this on somebody that's not going to have a happy marriage for either party long term. There's me. So there's our sales number. As you just go to our website too, right, and request a demonstration or download videos, right? If you're not at that point, our YouTube channel has a whole bunch of excellent content for education as well. So yeah, if anybody wants to learn more, has questions, you can reach out to me directly. You can just reach out to the company, and from a just general contact, right? Reach out to anything, right? Just go to our website. That's the easiest way to find us, or shoot me an email if you just have random questions or anything like that that I can address. We will send out a link to this recorded webinar to anybody who registered or attended, of course. Yeah, I hope it was a good peek, and I appreciate everybody jumping on with me today. Thanks.